I'd like to call to order the December 9th Conservation Commission meeting. Are there any public concerns or non-agenda items? Seeing that no one is here, I'll say no. Public hearing. There's the City of Easthampton bundled notice of intent, but there's no one here for that, right?
They're going to continue it.
Okay. So can I get a motion to continue that to January 13th?
Is it possible to continue indefinitely until they tell me, or should we just keep doing it each
I don't know
meeting?
the answer to that.
Okay, well then we'll figure it out next time.
We've never done that, I don't believe.
I mean, he will. He's told me that. I'm assuming it won't happen for the rest of the winter.
Right, because
but-
there's nothing they're going to probably do during
Right.
the winter, right?
Motion
But-
to
Sorry.
continue until January 13th
Is there a
at 6
second?
p.m.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, enforcement actions, CFN Properties LLC on 10 O'Neill Street.
Okay, so I have drafted a letter that I was going to send them. I know that the last meeting we had talked about that there were two options that we wanted to hear if they just decided to pursue one or the other. One being that they would either submit a plan of complete for restoration of any areas that had been violated, or for them to submit plans to convert the area for vehicle storage, you know, in a way that would be in compliance to the Wetlands Protection Act.
But they would have to file a formal
Yeah, I believe so.
notice of
that
intent
they-
or...
Yeah, definitely would have to do a notice of intent. I don't know if a notice of intent is necessary for the restoration plan.
No,
Okay, cool.
but
So,
maybe,
so that was kind of what I wanted to see, get you guys to just make sure that letter looked right. If it looks right enough, I'll send it. I haven't heard back from Melissa on it, but I wanted to send it tonight after the meeting, because I've been trying to call him, both Chris Fall, who was the
Okay.
representative who came in at the meeting and was at the site visit, and then also just by leaving messages at the actual automotive business.
well,
So
do you want to wait until you hear back from Melissa?
maybe if you guys think that's what I should do, then I can definitely do that. I didn't know if it because with that, the other thing about it is that I kind of put a timeline on it, is that I need to hear from you from December 30th, which is the document submittal deadline for the January 13th meeting. It doesn't necessarily mean that he has to have a plan by the January
Right.
13th meeting, but that I need to know like what their plan, which option they're gonna pursue by that time. And if that sounded reasonable to you guys, I think it sounds pretty reasonable. Or if you wanted to make it sooner, you could do that as well.
Well, he's got the vehicles removed from the area. He knows he's not supposed to be doing anything in it, so I'm not sure there's like an emergency.
Right.
Because he is complying with what our request was.
Exactly.
So I don't think it has to be urgent. If you want to wait for Melissa to take a pass at it, because
Okay.
she's usually the one who gets into the details.
That makes sense to me.
I think this is pretty straightforward with what we discussed too, so if we wanted to,
Fine.
we could.
If you're comfortable with it, I'm okay. I didn't, usually Melissa gets back pretty fast on
Yeah.
things.
I'll see if I don't hear from her by Wednesday. At
Okay.
the end of the day, then I'll just mail it.
All right. Mountain View Investors, 220 Northampton Street.
Yeah, okay, so that's the next big update, was that I was able to speak with Mark Stinson about, because it was kind of an interesting situation where the minutes were authorizing what would typically be considered a violation of the Wetlands Protection Act, in that it said they could brush hog in the fall, if I remember correctly. Those are the minutes from, let's see, I have it written here, October 24th, 2011. So I told him about that, and he said that the Mass DEP would not support us in pursuing an official enforcement order in light of those minutes
Right.
being in existence. And so my proposal was to, you know, of course I'll inform Martin Beater of that, and then I was kind of thinking maybe I should just ask him to not mow it anymore, just because, but it's up to them, of course. especially in light of the fact that the property will be, in theory, being owned by another.
Should be owned before next fall, hopefully, if that
Right,
project
so,
moves
oh yeah, so
along.
maybe it won't even matter by then.
Right, hopefully
But-
this thing will move along. Cernak property at Westview Terrace.
I don't have any other updates besides when we last had ours. We had a site visit on the 15th, but I think I spoke to this last
Yes, you
meeting.
did.
Yeah, so nothing besides that. And we'll just hear from her in the spring.
Okay. Kaufman, 298 Loudville Road.
No updates. We'll probably hear from them, or we should, according to their timeline, we should be hearing from them in February.
All right. St. Bridget's Cemetery, Our Lady of the Valley Parish, Everett Street.
No updates.
Autumn Properties LLC, the rear of 161, 165 Northampton Street.
No updates.
And then the Gall property at 37 South Street.
None.
All right, open space updates. Echodale West Orchard.
Yeah, so I hadn't been having any luck calling
Right.
Land Stewardship Inc., but I did email Chris Paladin, if that's how you pronounce his name, on the 5th of December, and he directed me to their project manager, Andrew Morrison. I have not received a reply from Andrew yet, but Chris had speculated that they were being held up by some field mowing that was not completed a year or two ago, which prevented them from completing the project.
All right.
So there's more details to come, hopefully, in the future.
Okay. We did meet with Andrew, and he was involved in the early stages, but he
Okay.
also was hard to get a hold of.
Okay.
Lathrop Community, Florence Road.
None.
Thank you.
All right, compliance updates. Pleasant Street Mills.
Nothing.
Again, Lathrop Community.
Nothing.
Williston Northampton School.
Yeah, so Mark Reed said we had a site visit, but it was canceled because of the snow,
Yeah,
which makes
because
sense.
it's, you have to walk the trail, and there's 18 inches of snow on it. Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe this rain will help.
It might,
Yeah.
okay.
So we're gonna try to get one in before the January 13th
Okay,
meeting.
all right. City of Easthampton, Neshonoc Pond, aquatic vegetation management.
No updates.
Loven Properties off of O'Neill Street.
Yeah, so this I do have an update. The last meeting we had talked about, we wanted to know, Mark had been able to give me a brief overview just of his opinion of how the restoration was going. And now, since then, he's been able to supply me with this more official survey that was completed by Keith Morris, an environmental consultant.
Okay.
And I'll show it to you guys here. And then on the back of the front page, it details the seed mix that they used.
All right.
And it looks like, based off of his species that he listed as binding and the species that were supposed to be there, it's a pretty good match.
Okay.
But they plan to do another more thorough survey in the spring.
All right.
And then I have a general inspection log that just says that there was a rain event of 1.5 inches of rain Sunday the 24th, but there's no ongoing construction on the site, and everything seemed to be within order.
Okay.
If you want to see it.
What was that date?
The rain was on the 24th, and the inspection on the 25th. Oh, I don't know if you need the name of the seed mix that they used. It's New England Wet Mix.
That's probably in here, right?
Yeah, it's on the other page.
Okay, let me get this in here.
Pretty good. Can I say?
Does anyone know who Keith Morris is?
It says that at the end he's an environmental consultant, but I wasn't sure what organization he worked for.
Did we approve a consultant for this project?
I don't remember doing that, but that doesn't mean we didn't do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can look that up.
The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place it right now.
All right, City of Easthampton, White Brook, Broad Brook, maintenance dredging.
No updates.
Holistic Industries at 155 Northampton Street.
Yeah, most of the updates, the big ones were from the last meeting. If you remember that gravel walkway and the things
Right.
about the parking lot. I got a general just report. There's no work going on there as well from that rain event, essentially saying that everything was in order. They also submitted a letter, kind of just reiterating the extra work that was done, and with an updated map, I think, of the parking lots and such. So, if you guys want to take a look at that. The inspection report is on top, and then the next is the letter.
One Industrial Loss LLC, 1 Ferry Street, Track 1 and 2.
Yeah, so this has a kind of a big update. So I got another SWIP inspection. This time it was conducted by Mark Michon, the manager himself.
Okay.
And
Mike.
Mike,
Yeah,
that's
it's okay.
yeah, the right name. So he was saying, and then he gave me, I had emailed him asking, because the commission had wanted to know who their designated inspector would be and what their credentials they would have. And they also were wondering if they had any previous inspections from major rain events that had already occurred. And when I spoke to him on the phone, he was frank in saying that they did not have any previous inspection reports. Also that he would like to be designated, Mike Michon would like to be designated the inspector, just because of convenience of location for him. And he says he has 35 years of consulting experience. I don't know if that's something that is enough for the commission as an inspector.
I think we should run that one by Melissa.
Okay.
It's a really, the straw bottles is in a very small space, a very,
Right.
It's not a big area that we have any straw bottles or any erosion protection, but because he's technically not a professional, we should have Melissa form an opinion or make an opinion on that.
I agree. The other thing that he said that he wanted to do was to conduct a site visit for us to, so if we could see the situation there as well as, and maybe even more so for my benefit, because I
Okay.
haven't been out there
Okay.
yet. But also they wanted to make an appeal to not have to submit the reports while winter, when there's no construction going on.
Right.
I didn't know if they needed to do informal submittal of appeal for that, or if we could just not expect not to have them, or what the next steps were for that.
Well, let's see what the next week brings us for weather, and maybe if there's enough snow melting that we can actually walk out there and see things,
Right.
we can set something up before the 13th.
Okay, cool, yeah. I don't know if anyone wants to take a look at this report, or it's pretty straightforward.
Can you send it over, please?
Yes.
So at the moment, they're expecting to perform inspections on a regular basis until they hear otherwise.
Exactly.
But
each
none were
one-
done before this one.
Except the ones that I submitted last meeting, there's another one completed. So this is the second one we've received, and that one was completed by a different person, Jim with an S. But yeah, they're hoping to make the formal appeal at the next meeting on the 13th. So Mike Michon will be there.
Okay. All right, Easthampton Park Solar 1, 232 Park Street.
No updates.
River Valley Co-op Markets, 228 Northampton Street.
Only that they sent me the plans that they showed you at the last meeting. I've received them and they're
Okay.
up to date in the file. Oh, and that construction will probably begin in February or the spring.
Okay. All right, City of Easthampton for the pump house demolition activities, Lower Mill Pond.
Okay, I have some pictures to show you. Mike Owens was able to give me an update. Let's see, I'll read it real quick. Essentially saying that since our site visit that we conducted on, when was that? We had a site visit on the 31st of October. And since that visit, there was some approvals, and then no work was actually done, as I can see, until the 25th, I'm pretty sure, which is when they were able to they poured concrete pads over that area that was kind of like a hole. Do you remember when we were there?
Or were they going to put pre-port or pre-made things? I think they're going to have pre-formed pieces that they're going to position in there, unless they change the plan, but.
I'm not sure. It looks like they must have been pre-formed, if you can see the picture, because I know they just filled
I
it
think
all
they're
the
going to
way
get some blocks made because they couldn't pour over, without pouring the water and
Okay.
all that.
Yeah,
without water, so.
That would make sense to me. It says in here pouring of concrete pad, but maybe they did that
Off-site.
off-site,
Yeah,
and then,
yeah,
or if that's
right.
what the debris is from. There's like some debris of wood on the first page. I don't know if that's what it's from.
They could have poured them there maybe,
Yeah, I don't know.
and then just moved them down the hill. I don't know.
Exactly. They sealed the water intake pipes. They, the contractor's trailer is gone. They put in a safety fence on the concrete slab, and then,
And they fixed the wattles that were across the.
those are the wattles, yeah. I ran out of toner stuff, I don't know.
That's fine,
black
that's
and white. But yeah, if anyone wants to look at this report as well, probably anything after the 31st of October should be new.
Now, at some point in the future, they're still going to try to fill in the gully of the road,
Yeah, he
maybe in the
was-
spring when we can plant.
Exactly, so he's
Seed.
saying in the springtime, they were gonna they want a recommendation on the seed, if there's anything specific that we want them to use for seed,
Okay.
something shade tolerant, that the area is gonna
Definitely,
shade.
yeah.
And then, he said they were gonna come to us when they had like more of a plan for the grading and all that stuff. So
Okay.
the preliminary exists, it's just that, yeah, it's all waiting until the spring now.
Yeah, okay.
Did they do one wattle or?
Multiple.
There's some multiples.
Yeah.
I know, it's hard to see, but it's like 5, maybe?
Okay.
And we shouldn't expect, he said there's no work happening until spring, so no reports will
Right.
be coming in since now.
All right, City of Easthampton road improvements for Ferry Street, Pleasant, and Lovefield Streets intersection.
No update.
All their wattles were in place and we inspected them and everything.
Yeah, those were the
Okay,
ones that
good time, right.
site visit we went to, and I don't think anything has changed.
Okay. Beacon Stone LLC, property located at 50 Florence Road.
I still have to reach out to them to see if we got the registry, them to file the order
File.
conditions with the registry deeds.
Okay.
I was kind of waiting on, because I was still working with them already to get the bill sorted, so
Okay.
it's kind of, you'll see at the end that that has been sorted, so now that's kind of my next step.
All right, Easthampton School Committee for the construction of the new school building.
No updates.
Okay. In the city of Easthampton, maintenance activities include spreading of gravel, milling potholes, etc.
Still waiting for a request for certificate of compliance.
And that was River Street. Did they do it? They haven't been done.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
They did it. They did
Yeah,
it.
I did do it.
I didn't remember. All right, general business, meeting minutes of November 18th.
I have a copy if anyone wants to see them.
Do we have enough people to do that one?
Oh, I don't know.
I was here.
Who was on them?
Everyone was in attendance.
So yes.
Okay, so is there, well,
Oh no,
take a
Jessica
look.
wasn't there, but.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes of November 18th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And also we have the receipt of notice of intent for Easthampton Park Solar LLC for the Westview Terrace location.
No updates.
The building question from GZA for the delineation of 50 Florence Road.
Yep, I finally got the paperwork for it sorted out and got a purchase order for that, and they should be receiving a check sometime past the 12th of this month.
Okay.
Quick question for you. I thought you had said you were gonna send me something on Eversource. The end of Holly Circle with the,
Oh, right, because you were saying there were the people, yeah, I have that. I can run and grab it, like now, or I can give it to you at the end of the meeting.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Or you can send it to me. I mean, it's been going on for 6 weeks.
Yeah, they wasn't, I think that was the one that, if you guys recall, around the same time that Eversource was coming forward for an RDA, they also sent me another letter informing me of work that did not require an RDA because it was exempt. It looked pretty extensive, and I'm assuming that what you're describing is part of that, but we can.
Yeah, they
double
must
check.
assume there were no impacts.
Okay, the receipt of a request for certificate of compliance for 99 Hendrick Street.
Yep, I spoke with Mr. Daigle on the phone about what he needed, and I told him everything he needed, and I have not heard from him since.
Okay.
So at the last meeting, the note said we had drafted, or you were going to draft a letter with the additional information. That's what you reached out to him with and haven't heard
Yep,
back.
I sent him an email about it, and then he called me asking about it, and I clarified, and he seemed to, when we spoke on the phone, then he seemed to understand what we were asking of him. And yeah, he didn't give me any kind of timeline, nor did I like ask for one, but I can if you guys want me to. Okay.
All right, 2020 meeting schedule drafts. You had done a preliminary one, and then it was going to get retooled a little bit. So, did you email that out?
I did.
I don't remember seeing that.
I sent it as an attachment to, so I emailed you the first time, usually the Thursday
Okay.
before, and then I sent another one today.
Okay.
With the, it's either that one or the one that I sent today. But it should be
Yeah,
all.
I did see it.
Okay.
You did see it, okay.
Uh-huh.
But I have a proud hard copy too. But basically the only notes, last time I didn't realize that it was on the 2nd and the 4th.
Okay,
a
right.
Monday of every month, so I made it reflect that. I just wanted you to note that there was only one meeting in May and October, just because it happens that a lot of holidays fall on Mondays. I hope that's okay. I don't know if I need to move it around.
Well, that's
or
what
just
we
doesn't-
usually try to do, is try to, switch it to get at least 2 meetings in a month.
Okay, so I should do it like the next week after.
Depending on how it lands, we don't like to do 2 meetings, like 2 Mondays in a row, but
Right.
if there's 5 weeks in the month and there's a holiday, maybe we try to
Okay.
spread it out a little.
Okay, I can try to do that, and then.
But I will look for that.
And then the other thing was that, yeah, it's October and May, I only have one. And then the last thing was for December, I have 2 meetings. Though I know this month we only had 1. Made sense because of where the holiday was landing, or
Right.
if that's just standard, we just don't do 2.
Normally, activity levels are not that high in December.
Right.
So usually 1 meeting just, gets us set up for the next year, the first meeting next year, to make sure we got everything.
Do you have any preference for having it on the 14th or the 28th, or a different date entirely?
I picked the 25th.
Oh, what were the choices?
I'm just fine here. It's either the 14th or the 28th.
Oh, definitely the 4th.
14th would make more
14th.
sense.
Okay, cool, cool.
Because you may not get people here on the 28th if
Right.
people are traveling.
You won't get me here.
Sounds good. All right, cool. Well then, I think that was all the questions I had about the meeting schedule then.
Did you, wasn't there like 3 meetings in July?
Oh, I fixed that.
Oh, I didn't see it yet. So.
No, that's good. Good to check.
Any other correspondence that came in the last couple of weeks? Okay, good.
Yeah. So the only thing for January 13th that should be actionable is Mike Michon will be coming in trying to
Right,
appeal
okay.
for his reporting.
Any site visits planned? Or?
Maybe tentatively for Williston.
Williston
And
and
also
for
Ferry
Ferry
Street.
Street, if we get this, both are gonna depend on, snow removal a little bit, so.
Right.
Which one was Ferry Street?
The big mill
The
complex.
Mike
big mill
Michon.
complex,
Mhm.
track 1, track 2. But, to do Williston, you're really trying to look at a trail that you can't see, so it's. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.